In the year 1871, beneath the endless sapphire canopy of the Kazakh steppe, a legend was born into the humble cradle of a nomad's yurt. His name was Mukan, but the winds of the plains would soon whisper it as if it were a prayer or a challenge. From his first breaths, there was something elemental about him, a density of bone and a fire of spirit that defied the harsh poverty of his surroundings. While other children played, Mukan was already a creature of myth, his small frame hiding a strength that seemed borrowed from the mountains themselves. The elders in the village of Karaotkal still speak of the boy who did not just walk, but shook the earth. They tell tales of a young Mukan, barely a teenager, who would approach a bogged-down wagon laden with grain and, with a single grunt of effort, heave the entire wooden frame from the mud as if it were a toy. There are stories of him lifting full-grown camels onto his shoulders to cross frozen rivers, his legs like iron pillars against the biting wind. He was a force of nature, a baiter in the making, whose physical prowess was matched only by the quiet dignity of his soul. This was no ordinary child. He was the living embodiment of the steppe's resilience. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long golden shadows across the tall grass, the world began to take notice. The local hero of the wrestling pits was outgrowing his borders. The raw, untamed power of the Kazakh dirt was about to be refined into the disciplined art of Greco-Roman wrestling, preparing Mukan to conquer the globe. The dusty rings of the steppe soon gave way to the grand, gas-lit arenas of Europe and the bustling markets of Asia. Mukan moved through these foreign landscapes like a force of nature, his massive frame a silhouette of power against the backdrop of a changing world. To the crowds in Paris, Berlin, and Harbin, he was a mystery wrapped in a singlet, often introduced by the intimidating moniker, the Black Ivan. This pseudonym was no mere marketing ploy. It was a nod to his legendary peer and respected rival, Ivan Poddubny. The two titans, though competitors, shared a bond forged in sweat and mutual admiration, their matches becoming the stuff of sporting folklore. While Poddubny was the Iron Russian, Mukan was the thunder from the east, a man whose grip could crush stone but whose heart remained anchored to his heritage. His journey eventually led him to the heart of the Ottoman Empire, where the heat of Istanbul matched the intensity of the competition. It was here, in the cradle of ancient wrestling traditions, that Mukan faced his most grueling trials. He dominated the Turkish mats, defeating their finest champions with a blend of raw strength and a strategic mind that whispered of centuries-old nomadic wisdom. Yet it was not just his physical dominance that left a mark. Following his triumphs, Mukan embarked on a sacred pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, a journey of the spirit that mirrored his physical endurance. Upon his return, he was no longer just a wrestler. He was a Kazi. This prestigious title, honoring his faith and his journey, transformed him into a symbol of spiritual and physical perfection. He carried this new name with a profound sense of duty, proving that a true warrior's strength is found not only in the muscles of his arms, but in the unwavering devotion of his heart. His legacy became a beacon for his nation. The transition from the sacred sands of the steppe to the dazzling, sawdust-strewn arenas of the world's greatest circuses was a spectacle of sheer, unadulterated force. Mukan became the Iron Giant, a titan who stepped into the spotlight not just to compete, but to defy the very laws of physics. Imagine the heavy hush that fell over the crowd as this mountain of a man lay flat upon the ground, a massive wooden platform lowered onto his broad, expansive chest. The air grew thick with tension as a heavy automobile packed with passengers slowly rolled onto that platform. The audience watched in breathless terror, Yet Mukan remained a pillar of stone, his lungs expanding against the crushing weight, his spirit completely unyielding. This was not mere showmanship. It was a testament to the impossible limits of human endurance. He didn't just lift weights. He bent the world to his will. With hands hardened by the Kazakh soil, he would take thick iron rods, cold and unbending, and twist them into intricate knots as if they were nothing more than wet straw. He tore through heavy metal chains with a single heave of his massive shoulders, the metallic snaps echoing like gunshots through the rafters. Across 54 different countries, from the grand theaters of Europe to the bustling squares of Asia, the world stood in awe of this nomadic colossus. Every performance was a high-energy explosion of power, leaving spectators gasping as he transformed the circus ring into a temple of physical dominance. He was a living marvel, a man who carried the strength of an entire nation on his shoulders while the world cheered. To see Mukan was to witness the boundary between man and myth dissolve, as he conquered every stage with the raw, untamed energy of the steppe. As the drums of war began to thunder across the horizon, the aging giant looked beyond the circus lights to a nation in peril. The world was at war, and the nomadic colossus knew his greatest battle would not be fought on a wrestling mat, but in the crucible of sacrifice. With the same iron will that had pinned champions across the globe, Mukan gathered the treasures of a lifetime: his gold medals, his hard-earned currency, and the precious accolades of his storied career. He did not hoard his wealth. Instead, he offered it all to the front lines. Traveling from village to village, the elderly hero performed one last grueling tour, lifting heavy weights and bending steel to inspire his people, eventually raising enough funds to purchase a powerful fighter plane for the Soviet Air Force. This aircraft, christened in honor of the Kazakh hero Ivan Poddubny, soared into the clouds as a testament to his unwavering patriotism. A gift of wings from the earth. But even the strongest oak must eventually return to the soil. In 1948, legendary Kazhymukan passed away, leaving behind a silence that echoed across vast, golden steppes he loved so dearly. He died not just as a champion of sport, but as a guardian of his people's soul. Today, his name is etched into the heart of Kazakhstan, a symbol of national honor that transcends time. He remains the eternal icon of the Kazakh spirit, a man who proved that true greatness is measured by what one gives away. His story is a bridge between the ancient traditions of the nomads and the modern identity of a proud nation. Though his physical form has long since vanished, the echo of his footsteps still resonates, reminding every generation that strength is found in service.